Check, check, check. Okay, there we go. All right, there you go. Shoot. Excuse me. Peace, peace. Uh, yeah, we good now. Y'all can hear me okay now? Peace, peace. I'm coming live from right now. I'm in Madrid, Spain. I'm in Madrid, Spain right now. So, I'm still gallivanting around the world, checking out different countries. What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Good, good, good. I wanted to do a little Q&A. Just answer some questions that y'all have for me in the chat. I didn't really have a topic. Just tuning in with you and letting y'all ask me some questions in the comment section. See if I can answer some of your questions. I got to find out how to make the questions appear on the screen. I got the super chat is going questions are answered first. The one you highlighted, those get answered first. Those take priority over everything else. Is there a law compelling judges to use a court reporter? In my area, it seems like all that I call require a lawyer. In my area, it seems like all that I call require a lawyer. I don't know I can't understand what you're saying. I'm not sure if there's a law, a court of record is going to have a stenographic record of the proceedings. You need to ask that at the beginning of the proceedings. And then what I don't believe that they are required to have a court reporter there. You're required. You don't even need to worry about all that. If you feel like you need a court reporters are on standby all the time. You can go and hire you a court reporter and bring your court reporter with you to court. If you know you need a record of the proceedings, and you are responsible for that. That's not on the court. People need to understand you need to take accountability for things and stop putting the onus on them to do everything. That's a problem with the American people in particular. They expect somebody to do something for them. They need to do something for themselves. I just received a notice of balance due from a court. Some abatement at common law document help. I don't know what a notice of balance due from a court is. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't even know. I ain't never heard no shit like that. Hello, everyone. Hope all is great in your lives. Good. Will you be doing another seminar soon? Probably. Probably. Can I do a quick claim on some property my grandmother owes? She is the nursing home and the family members haven't paid the taxes. Not if it's not in your name. How you gonna quit claiming it? It's not in your name. You gonna that's fraudulent conveyance. You going to jail. Hey Yusuf, I just started, and let me pause y'all for a second. I'm not answering any questions that they don't have anything to do with secure party, currency circulator, discharging debt, status correction, private matters, all this other shit. Nigga, go get you an attorney. Go get your motherfucking attorney. Don't ask me no questions about quit claiming property and all that shit. Nigga, you need to ask that question. Go get your goddamn attorney. What the fuck does that have to do with what I teach over here? Y'all come in and ask me. I know the answer to the question, but I'm not an attorney. Go get you an attorney, man. Don't ask me questions you need an attorney for. I deal with private matters, private processes. I'm not no attorney. And I'm not trying to be one. I don't want to be in a profession at all. I'm not trying to be in a profession at all. I'm not trying to do what they do. I'm not trying to argue no cases. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. Those are things you can look up for yourself. You know what? You know you can't quit claim no property. How you fuck you gonna quit claiming property that ain't in your name? Y'all be tripping me out. Get you a power of attorney, and maybe you could do something then. Hey Yusuf, I just started my journey. There are a ton of info on your channel. To be honest, it's a little overwhelming. Where should someone start first? Start with, do you really understand the private side? Do you really understand the private side? Start with that video right there. Do you really understand the private side? Because I'm gonna tell you what, like you see all these questions I'm getting, crazy ass questions. Every last one of them, they don't. It's either one or two things. They don't know the basics. Like I talk to people all the time. You know, I was talking to females, and they were trying to tell me if you private, you know, why don't you do X, Y? They don't even know what private is. And you know, it's difficult when you're talking to people. They think they know all the answers too. They got all the answers already. They only been doing it a couple of years. They think they know everything about discharging debt. You know, they think they know everything. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something about this. I have seen some badass people. I can post a video right now for Cat. He's on YouTube. Y'all don't even know he's here. This motherfucker was charging $5,000 a head for discharging debt. He swore up and down he had the answer. Intelligent as hell. It's stuff is still on YouTube right now. I just haven't put it out there, but I could. He's smart now. He knew some shit. I ain't gonna knock him, but which a lot of people do. But I've seen plenty of people come and go. And one thing I do understand is this: if it ends up on the internet, it ain't gonna last long. That's why I teach class and do things like that, because it's up to you to figure out how to do these things, and don't share it on YouTube if you do when you find out. If you share it on YouTube, you just dug your own grave. That shit ain't working for long. Usually, in my opinion, I think people sell shit on YouTube once it stopped working for them. And then they go and start selling it on YouTube or do something like that or put it out on YouTube. That shit's not working. I've been doing this too long, and I've seen all this stuff. And it's basically people don't have an understanding of basics like public and private. That's why you have a lack of understanding of public and private is the reason you'll have someone say something like, "Oh, you know, we don't have to pay taxes." Well, you don't if you're completely private, but if you come into the public, there's going to be some taxes that you're going to have to deal with. But it's and you'll see like major gurus. I remember I was watching this cat. He was selling private trust, and the IRS took him to court, and he went all the way to the Supreme Court. He lost, and I read all the case. Thought he should have lost because during that whole trek from the lower court all the way to the Supreme Court, I didn't see not one instance where he understood the difference between public and private. And a lot of them don't, and they don't understand it, and they don't want to understand it. They so arrogant in their thinking. You know, there's a document that you should read. Let me read this to you. If you go to SBC University, this document put a lot of stuff in perspective for me. And the name of the document is Paper Arrows. Paper Arrows by Howard Griswold. Now, I love this document right here because it tells you the true meaning, the true purpose of the Constitution. It gives you the case law supporting it, as well as the fact, Juan, go sit down somewhere, man. Juan still, he mad. You know, they be getting mad and shit. They be getting mad, boy. Listen, man, if y'all gonna call us sovereign citizens, I'm gonna call you all type of names too. I'm gonna call you lames and you know, fuck boys and all, you know, because basically that's what you are to me. You know, you want to use this term sovereign citizen, and it's very disrespectful. It's a disrespectful term. I've already told you that calling me a sovereign citizen is like calling me a nigga. So if you keep on doing it, I ain't got no respect for you. I'm not even going to come on none of your shows or platforms, anything like that, until you take that shit down because you're not respecting me. So fuck you. Go suck a dick and die. I don't give a fuck. Keep making your fucking videos over there, jacking your dick. Because you ain't stopping shit over here. Not nothing. If anything, you'll help me grow. So until you learn how to give respect, we'll give you some respect back. But there ain't no such thing as a sovereign citizen. Y'all done made a word up. Y'all done pull that shit out your ass because it's a play off the word sovereign, off the word sovereign. Ain't no sovereign citizen. The people in the United States are sovereign. Now I would dare you to get on your live stream and say the people in the United States are not sovereign. But you won't do that because you know you might get lynched. You might get hung from a tree. You white people ain't playing with y'all motherfuckers, man. They'll fuck you up. Y'all come out and start saying that crazy motherfucking start sounding too much like you a communist or Marxist or something like that in this country. Keep playing. Y'all keep playing. United States of America is the most heavily armed citizens on planet Earth. And they watching. And they not stupid. They're not as stupid as you think they are. They ain't stupid. But anyway, this paper arrows. U.S. Foreign Corporation. When you read this, man, it was a great document here. I'm gonna put it in the chat. You should where did I just put it? Oh yeah, here it is. You should read this. Here's the link right here. Download that and read that. That's a very good document to read. But start with understanding what's the difference between public and private. Do you really understand the private side? Start there. I appreciate the 10 bones. I appreciate the 10 bones. Let's see, he said, mastering consumer law right now. How do you properly engage consumer reporting agencies and lenders and enforce the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act with an eye credit and to shape your consumer report the way you want? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you have to follow the principle. The spoken word flies out the window and the written word remains forever. You got to master learning how to conduct an administrative process. I have 2 webinars on SPC University. They are called Corresponding with Public Officials. And what that is teaching you how to conduct an administrative process no matter what type of situation that you're in. If you are corresponding with consumer reporting agencies, I guess you're talking about credit bureaus, which I don't get into cleaning credit. I don't get into cleaning credit, because that especially if it's involving the Social Security number, because you shouldn't be using the Social Security number. But however, if you choose to, you can do it if you want to. If you're going to clean credit, you need to talk to somebody who cleans credit. A friend of mine, he's real good. He wrote a book called How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. And that would be who I would, do something like that. But I don't really get into cleaning credit and the Fair Debt Collection, Fair Credit Reporting Act, anything like that. I don't really get into that. I got excellent credit too, by the way. So I don't get into trying to clean up credit. I get into building credit. Get you a CPN number and build you a credit file. Fuck what they telling you. CPN numbers are perfectly legal. And if you don't believe me here, let me give y'all something right here. I want everybody to go over to this website right here. Because you got people on the internet, they be, oh, that's illegal. Man, shut up. I've been to court on mine. I've been in federal court on mine. They tried to give me a charge when I originally got indicted years ago, and they were trying to say I had two credit files. No, they didn't say I had 2 credit files. They said I had 2 Social Security numbers, and they gave it to the judge. The judge threw it out because number one, I didn't pose it as a Social Security number. Number 2, I wasn't behind on anything. I bought my house with a CPN number, and I paid the mortgage every month. Where's the injury? Ain't no injury with that. There's no injury. You haven't been injured. So until they can cite an injury, they ain't got nothing, a leg to stand on. The people be getting in trouble, like when you get on the internet and see, like, old girl got arrested for a CPN because that motherfucker didn't pay her bills. That be the people they think because they got another credit file, they can go and get it and then buy up some shit and not pay for it and just let it go away. Those are the most stupid, idiotic people ever. They get a second opportunity to get credit for their life, and they go ahead and fuck it up like that. They deserve everything that they get. I don't feel sorry for them at all. They deserve to go to prison or wherever it is they're going to go because they don't have the right mindset. The right mindset for credit, first and foremost, is you have to establish the right habits. You got to establish the right habits. That's why I always suggest that anyone who's building credit, they get them a $500 secured credit card. Some people say get a big one. I don't say get a big one. I say start with a small one. Start with something you can't fuck up. You can't get yourself into trouble with. Get you a $500 secured credit card. And if you can't handle that for 6 months, you don't need to be fucking with credit. And after 6 months, if you haven't established habits, like I paid everything with my credit card, but you pay it off at the end of every week. I don't pay off my credit cards at the end of the month. I pay off my credit cards at the end of the week. And I don't spend anything on my credit cards that I know I can't cover at the end of the week. So the first thing you're going to do is establish that habit. You're establishing a financial report on yourself through your credit cards. All your business should run through your credit cards. Everything. Everything runs through my credit cards. All my utilities, all my rent, all my corporate leases, everything. Credit card, everything runs through my credit cards. Groceries, everything runs through everything runs through my business credit cards too. But as far as the Fair Credit Report, you can use them. I got some good stuff in FCC University on the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Obviously so. The whole thing with this Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, there's only one thing that underlies all that is all debts had to be sworn to. And an attorney said that there's no such thing as debt. There's only presumption of debt. There can't be a debt because there isn't any money. So that's why anytime you get a Dunning letter, they say if you got 30 days to respond. If not, it will be presumed that this debt is valid. There's not any actual debt. There's only people who are in honor and who are dishonorable. And dishonorable individuals are people who ignore correspondence and things like that and allow default judgments to get placed on them. It's just honor and dishonor. There ain't no money. There's not any money. You got to request they verify the debt. A valid debt is a debt that's been verified. A verification is something that is attested to under penalty of perjury. All debts had to be verified. That's it. You write them a letter, say they need to swear. And if it's something like a bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcies don't get reported, but the federal government don't report stuff to the credit bureaus. So when you use the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you're writing them, telling them they got to give you the names of the people who reported it, and if they can't, they got to remove it. And the federal government don't report bankruptcies on credit reports. They go through the public records and find all that information out. So it says, let me see what else I got in here. But corresponding with public officials is a good video to watch on my SPC University website, as well as the fact that when you learn how to send certified mail letters and use affidavit of mailings from notaries that put teeth in your correspondence, then you can get somewhere. But letter writing campaigns is what that's all about. He says stuff, and when you ask him to prove it, he can't. Like what? What have you asked me to prove? You didn't ask me to prove shit. What are you talking about? They asked me to prove I can. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What have you asked me to prove? What do you ask me to prove? Come on, Mr. Zionist. Mr. Zionist. I know I piss you off and everything I tell, but I tell the truth. You want me to tell the truth? You want me to prove something? Let me prove something to you real quick. Let's prove something. So he's on there talking about I can't prove shit. All right. Let me prove something to you real quick. Let's prove something to you. He wants to say, he got mad at me. The reason he's pissed off at me because I posted a video from a Jew that said why it's a Jewish guy did this and said that Jews are only in control because everybody's stupid. That man that you saw me posted, that was an accident, but that was a Jewish man talking. Now you said it's anti-Semitic, but it was a Jewish man talking. And I'm going to show you something else. I want everybody to go over here right now. Because he trying to like, he just trying to stir up some shit. Man, you can't, man, I'm too intelligent to fall for your dumb ass shit, man. You ain't intelligent enough, man, to get me caught up in something, man. You're not intelligent as you think you are. You're not. You're not. You're not even close, as a matter of fact. You're talking to the gods when you come over here and talk. When you look at me, I want you to think about the pyramids over in Egypt. And I want you to look at those pyramids and look how you pale in comparison to the intelligence of the individuals who built that. Then I want you to go over there and look on the Egyptian walls. And I want you to look at your religion. I want you to look at the Talmud. That's what we need to be talking about, the Talmud, and expose the stuff that's in that. Don't get me started on you, sir. Don't get me started on you, man. You need to sit in the audience and just be fuck quiet, man. You're fucking talking to me. I don't give a fuck about you. Let me see. I want y'all to go with my bid shoot. I want y'all looking y'all government right now while they're giving $300 billion over to Ukraine. And since he wants to say I can't prove something, I want y'all to listen to this man right here. This is all your government right now. This is your government right now. I'm gonna keep on banging on this real quick. Because this is where my head is at. I don't know what you're talking about. My head is on this right here. Let me ask you a question. Do I have to prove there's no money? Do I got to prove that? Do I got to prove that America is trillions of dollars in debt? I got to prove that. I got to prove there's a public and a private. I got to prove that. This basic shit I'm talking about. What you talking about? I got to prove something. You sound ridiculous. Y'all need to watch this whole entire series, The Fall of the Cabal. You need to watch this entire series. If you have not watched this entire series, I want y'all to go over there and watch this entire series, The Fall of the Cabal. So we can talk, so you can see everything that's going on with the child pedophiles. They took this down 2-3 years ago off YouTube and took watch that entire series. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Then I want you, after you watch that, I want you to go over. I don't know why this thing. I don't always already had this thing. Oh, here it is. Here it is, right here. All right. I want everybody. Oh, they didn't restricted it. Oh man, somebody must report. Did you report my video on BitChute? It says contains incitement to hatred. Really? Why? How's it incitement to hatred? They took it down. Wow. Wow, they took that video down. Oh, that's why you over talking shit to me. Okay. Oh, see, y'all went and reported it. Oh, okay. That's okay. There's a lot of people on BitChute that mirrored my channel. It's all over BitChute. It's people who uploaded it onto their channels. It's all over the place. This man but they went over there and erased it off of BitChute. Talking about incitement to hatred. That is cold-blooded right there, boy. That's cold. That is cold. That's cold. Let me see if I can get it. See if I can get it. It says it's been restricted. I don't see how telling everybody who is in the government who's Jewish is incitement to hatred. Here, I want y'all to see right here. If y'all can get the video, I got the video. I'm gonna upload it somewhere else. I'm probably upload it on Rumble or something like that. Here's the link right here, y'all, over my BitChute. He asked when you asked to prove shit. I mean, you keep on saying that. I don't know what you're talking about. Prove what? I'm sitting here reading case law and doing everything like that. What are you talking about? I'm sitting here. See, here's the thing, man. Let me talk to this Jewish cat real quick. Y'all just listen. Y'all listen to this real quick because they don't like me because I tell the truth. I just tell the truth. I don't hate nobody. Whenever I talk, it's never from a position of hatred or anything like that. The only thing I tell you what I don't like individuals you think that you're the smartest person in the room and everybody else is stupid. You know, I don't like attorneys because they are liars. And the Bible has warned us about these individuals, and there is slavery going on in this country. Now, here's the thing. There's no money. Would you agree with that? Hold on, let me get this guy, man, this NSA guy. I want you to answer my questions. You claim you had a case dismissed because of your awesomeness. What is the case number? I didn't say I had no case dismissed. I ain't never said that. I've never said I had a case dismissed. I said I had charges dropped, not no case dismissed. Never said that. But let me say this, Sean Hawkins, give me your name and your information. Put that for me. Put that for me. Put your personal information in the chat. And by the way, I have had it done. I'm not lying about that. I have it done. And I have had webinars where I've shown people this. Matter of fact, I'm even going to throw you another bone, Mr. Sean Hawkins. The attorney, when you read the case, he said, this is back, way back, you're over 20 years ago. He said, I've never seen anyone that knows the law like him. That was that's in the record too. That's in the record, sir. So let me ask you this, sir. Let me ask you, since you're in asking questions and everything, are you a Zionist Jew? Are you a Zionist Jew? Are you a Zionist Jew? Will you agree that your government has been taken over by Jews by 70%? Hold on, y'all stop writing. I want to get at this cat right here. I want to get him. I want to get him real quick. Come on, because he want to get, come on. Come on now. You got my attention. You got my full attention. You got my full attention. They got like a 90, they have a 99% conviction rate. And the thing about it is, let me tell you what this. And see, this is what they doing right now. They want to try to I know. Listen, let me tell you something. I already knew that y'all was going to attack me personally because y'all can't get me intellectually. I was already expecting that. I already expected the personal attacks to start because you can't get me intellectually. Y'all liars, man. Let me tell you something, man. I want y'all to listen to this. When you see somebody on the internet use one of these things as a defense, they try to say the fact that, well, it doesn't work. The thing about it is you can't show it on the record because it's public. And you'll never see anything on the record that showed that it don't work. Because when they do the shit, it's done in the private. So that right there, when he just said that, that's a setup question. But I'm already ready for it. Anybody who knows that knows that. This idiot, him and this guy, this other Jewish guy, that's what they want you to think because they know how this shit goes too. They know how it goes. They're gonna sit there and say, well, show us on the record. Well, sir, the whole system is designed where it never appears on the record. It doesn't appear on the record. There's no way to prove it. It's like we just no way to prove it. It's like Satan. It's like when you meet Satan, and everybody say, well, does Satan exist? And you say, well, you hear about Satan and everything. I told this from day one. I told this story when I first came on the radio. I said, listen, this is like Satan. You've heard this story that there's a devil. So it's in all the religions. You hear it's a devil. So You kind of, you've heard the story. So one day you meet Satan himself. He comes into your bedroom. He talks to you. He tells you all about your life, tells you all about when you was growing up. And then you're like, okay, and you say, damn, the devil is real. So then he leaves. So now you go out into the world and you start telling everybody Satan exists. Then his demons come into the chat and they start saying, well, prove it. Prove Satan exists. You said you talked to Satan. Prove that Satan exists, and they know you can't prove it. They got the system. Let me tell you, let's talk about the system real quick. They got the system so cold in the feds. All right. First of all, y'all all know that they bring you into the courtroom by yourself. Okay. So if they have you in custody, you ain't recording nothing. You can't do anything like that. When you hand them a GSA bond or anything like that, that's not going on the record. That's not going on the record. Ain't none of that going on the record. Okay. Nothing is going on the record. Now, I have told these individuals when you read creditors and their bonds, let me read creditors and their bonds to you because this is just how it goes. I've told people this for many, many, many times. Let's just go to it. If you go to SPC University, I want y'all to go to SPC University real quick. And I want you to go to the PDF download section. And I've been teaching this for 15 years, telling people that, oh, I can handle your question. You think you're the first person to attack me personally? You sound silly. You sound crazy as hell. Go to right here, and here's the link to it. I'm going to put it in the chat. Somebody reported that shit on my BitChute. That's a trip. Somebody reported right after I did it. All right, now I want y'all pull this up. I want you to go right here. I want you to go to page. This is the first document I ever got when I first learned this stuff. This is the first thing I ever read. This is the first thing I ever read. So I want you to start, and I'm going to read this to you. The first time you were in court, okay, I'm going to read the last page. I'm on page, what page is this? It's 63 on the PDF numbering system, 63 out of 94. It says the first time you're in court, the lawyer will read the lawyer letter into the record. The lawyer will almost always say he cannot or will not read the letter into the record. He will whine and imply that you are silly and maybe even stupid, but he will read the letter because the judge knows he has it and has been instructed to read it. He knows this because you've asked him to file it with the clerk in the file. If he does not have it in the clerk's file before the hearing, you can put it in there on your way into the hearing. Get a certified copy of it to show him when you sit down next to him at the defendant's table in the courtroom. Also be prepared to give him cues on what you want him to do. You might be prepared with cards with large font messages for him to read if he gets off track. Don't argue any facts. Enter the judge's oath into the evidence file. Read my letter into the record. Enter my bond into the evidence file. We're here for settlement and closure. Ask the judge to discharge the bond. There is no controversy. Do not call any witnesses. Do not cross-examine except regarding the notary certificate. Now, here's the next thing. I want y'all to listen to this because this is how it goes. This is why the question that he just said, you'll never see it in the record. That's one of their little demonic ass ways. That's how they got the system set up so nobody ever finds out any of this that I'm telling you about. So right here it says public defender. This is on page 59 of 94. If there is a court involved, the judge may appoint a public defender for the defendant. You are not the defendant. The straw man named on the presentment was chosen to be the defendant. Remember rule number 1, the public and private can never be mixed. They can't do it and you can't do it. They don't ever mix them, so be careful you don't either. If the defendant has a public defender, this is good. When the prosecutor signs the complaint verifying it and his signature is notarized, he's taking on the liability that may follow in the event it is discovered the complaint is not valid. He is taking on a chance because at this point, he's the only attorney of record. He has filed a form of notice of appearance by filing the complaint or filing the grand jury indictment. He technically represents the defendant until someone takes his place. And now I want to tell y'all this. This is the most important part, because when you get an attorney, before he puts in that notice of entry of appearance, he's going to come to you and talk to you in jail. He may file something like he may say, hey, look, I'm going to waive arraignment. Waiver of arraignment is a not guilty plea. I never understood. This is what I want y'all to ask yourself. Why do they always put in a not guilty plea for you and then 8 months later offer you a plea deal? The not guilty plea is to get the liability off of them. And if you look at the timestamps, when you get the docket sheet, you're going to see that they're going to file a notice of entry of appearance right after they're going to file, put in a not guilty plea for you. That shifts the liability from them over onto you. These are things, once you understand what I'm talking about, all this shit that they're talking about right now, and I'm glad that you're bringing this up, because you're just burying yourself, because I'm gonna reveal everything to these people. That is how they hiding all of this. What we are saying, y'all hiding it. I don't understand what you can't understand in your small brain when you talk about, can you find it in the record? The reason I'm saying this is because they're hiding it. So the reason I'm teaching all this is to show people what to look for. You're hiding it. You're liars. You always resort to that, oh, well, you know, the courts have ruled against it. No, the courts rule against something procedurally, never substantively. They never go to the substantive issue of it. It's always dismissed on, oh, well, this is that sovereign citizen stuff. It's always something procedural, because the people coming into the court don't understand procedure. Don't play no games. Don't play no games, man. I done read all of this stuff. You playing games, and you a devil. And I'm calling you a devil to your fucking face. You a demon. Y'all demons. And y'all come on my channel. I see what y'all doing. That's why y'all over here fucking with me. I don't come on y'all's channel. I do not come on y'all's channel. I'm over here teaching the people what you got against me. I'm not following you because I'm telling the people the truth. Let's continue. It says, when the prosecutor signs the complaint, verifying it, and his signature is notarized, he's taking on the liability that me following the event is discovered the complaint is not valid. I went and verified that in the statute. You go to, here in Georgia, it's OCGA 17-11-4. Okay, and you can also find it in the federal, in the United States Code, that the prosecutor's name must be inscribed on all indictments. You will see a lot of indictments that aren't signed by a grand jury foreman. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna lie. I did some, one time I did about 70 people's indict or release. They all came back like 2 days later indicted. You know that shit was rubber stamped. They be rubber stamping indictments. They're doing all that kind of stuff, man. These guys out here, they are not honorable individuals. They like to give you the impression that they are. I'm not saying all attorneys. I'm talking about in the criminal justice system. That's specifically who I'm talking about. I'm talking about those attorneys. They're in the criminal justice system. Those are the ones. I ain't talking about if you do contracts and you know, and you work in entertainment law or you're an ambulance chaser. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the worst attorneys and the worst things in law are ones in criminal justice system and one in foreclosure. That's where you're going to see the most corruption in the judicial system in them two areas of law. It goes on, it says, he's filed a form of notice of appearance by filing the complaint or filing the grand jury indictment. He technically represents the defendant until someone takes his place. He's counting on someone appearing in the case to defend against his complaint. If that does not happen, he is the responsible party and liable for all the costs paid for in the complaint or associated with the statute violation. If that does happen, he's off the hook. Almost 100% of the time, that is what happens. He's pretty safe taking this chance. And that's because all of you go out there and hire an attorney or you enter a plea or something like that. That lets him off the hook. Usually the straw man named on the complaint gets a good attorney to defend him. That means the defense attorney is taking on the liability, right? Not so fast. He does not take on the liability until he signs a notice of appearance and files it in the clerk's file of that case. Once he is the attorney of record for the defense, he's on the hook. Now, he has to get someone to take his place. That likely taker on that position is the straw man named in complaint, indictment, or traffic ticket. The straw man can't talk, so someone has to represent it. Usually, that is you because you have a point to make, or a lesson to teach, or a testimony that will prove your case. That's the thing when they're always talking about arguing the cases. That ain't what we do. We don't argue cases. When you get into an argument, you've traversed, you've given them subject matter jurisdiction, you've given them everything. As soon as you start arguing the case in any kind of way, filing motions, all of that. He says, and it goes on, it tells you, said really good all-point paperwork has been put into the court for decades with very low success rate. The only way to win is to let the state win. It's a win-win situation. So how he's talking about a win-lose situation, here's the next thing. You're not going to let you beat the state, because if you beat the state, it's a lawsuit. It's millions of dollars. They ain't going to let that happen. So on the record, you got to let them win. So when this guy right here, he says, show me where you won, they know that ain't how it goes. I'm showing you right here, sir. This is what I teach right here. But you don't know that because you ain't did no due diligence on what I'm teaching. You're just over here thinking it's some typical sovereign citizen type shit. All you do, you and your boy, all y'all do is go over there and y'all like look at motherfuckers coming into court and y'all talking about them. That's all you do. He says, in court today, I was asking for the nature of my charge, and he just kept reading the charges. I said, I cannot mount a defense if I don't know the nature. Just send me a new date. Just set me a new date, and it's separate from my COD. And that's what they do. I call that fatiguing you into compliance. See, this is the thing right here. They got all type of techniques, bro. They got all type of techniques. They got to take, okay, let me give you all the techniques. The first technique is to arrest you and hold you in jail. All right, they're going to hold you in jail, and they'll hold you in jail for like up to 10 months, or something like that. They don't give you no court dates. They do dry runs. They bring you into court. They tell your family going to court, you'll never see the inside of a courtroom. Until you get tired of sitting in the jail, you're going to take a plea. You're going to take a plea. Their game is to get you to take a plea. Their game is to get you to take a plea. That's the object of the game on their side, is to get you to take a plea. All right. So when you start challenging jurisdiction, trying to discharge it and all of that, that's where the pushback is going to come from, because they're making a lot of money off of these cases. They're making a lot of money off of these cases. They're making a lot of money off of these cases. And they're not going to let you fuck that up. They're not going to let you fuck that up. And they're not going to put anything on the public record. When people keep on saying, well, show me the proof, there isn't any proof. It's just like I said, it's like when you meet Satan. If you meet Satan, the only person that knows is you. And the other people met Satan too. So, like, there are people on here, like, they listening to me and they say, yeah, Yusuf, you're right. I went through the same thing. Those are the people who know. Let me tell y'all something, man. They got this shit set up so good. They set up, you heard like they put you on diesel therapy, they all kind of stuff, the motherfucking psych evaluations and all of that. They got this shit set up so good, and you start doing this, and if they have you in custody, okay, they will take 3 years. They will drag you through the system for 2 or 3 years. About 2-3 years with no conviction. This is the thing. You got to have a lot of staying power in your mind to overcome all of that. And the average person don't got that. You either got family or something on the street or something like that. You worried about getting back to a job or something. They know all of that. All this shit, these dudes right here is demons. I'm sitting there telling you, they demons. They know all of this. And because you have to ask yourself the question, why are they over here fucking with me? If what I'm saying don't mean anything, why are they here? Why are they here? Why they don't want you to file a UCC1? If a UCC1 don't have no basis in law of fact, why the fuck they care? The only person's name on it is your name, your all caps name and your lowercase name. That's it. Ain't nobody else's name on it. Why do they care? Take the money. We're enriching the state through our filing fees, and leave us the fuck alone. Why are they over here? You take a big chance when you somebody like me coming out against these people and telling this information. The reason I came out to tell y'all this information is because one person can't do it. I tried to do it for years by myself. You can't do it. They have been doing this for years. They have perfected everything that they're doing is perfected. They know how to isolate you. They know how to make you look crazy. They got the whole system down perfected. If you don't believe that, you're crazy. And the only people that it matters to what I'm saying is the people who are going through it right now. You'll understand. And those are the people I'm talking to. I just read, go back and look at the video from yesterday. I'm reading this transcript. This dude's saying, I don't understand what I'm reading. He just sitting there saying that's what they do. Oh, you don't understand that. They just say anything. Let me tell you something, man. Read, and I hate to bring this up, but I want you to read Me and Kaff, which is Hitler, My Private Struggle. I read that document. I was watching a dude on YouTube and he was reading it and they were talking about how evil it was, how this is the reason that Hitler did X, Y, and Z, and how evil the document was and all of this. So I read it myself. I didn't see any of that, what they were talking about. I didn't see any of that in what I was talking about. One of the things he says about, like I think in chapter 2, he talks about how they obfuscate information. How you can be talking to them and they start talking about something else and they'll switch up on you and do things like this. This is what Jesus was talking about in St. John's chapter 8. He said, you have your father, the devil. He was a lie in the beginning and abode not in the truth. All that in St. John's 8:44. When you get in the position that I'm in right now, I want y'all to look at these guys in the chat and see how they move. You got to study how these people move. Y'all, yeah, and it's probably the last time I talk about this. You have to study how these people move. They are experts at obfuscation, lying, making you look crazy, all those different things. They experts at it. They experts, and that's what he was talking about. He was talking. He when he went to Vienna, he went to Vienna. You know, at first he only wanted to be an artist. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to draw. That's all he wanted to do. The swastika is an ancient esoteric symbol too, by the way. He drew it, you know, because he formed his own party and he wanted to strike fear in the opposition. And he took that spiritual symbol, the four winds, which is the swastika. You see it on Buddha statues on their head and things like that, way before he ever got a hold of it. But the thing is when he first went to Vienna, he was not against Jews or anything like that. Matter of fact, he was on their side. He thought they were being unfairly attacked by these other publications. All right, so they were talking about the same thing back then: anti-Semitism, all that kind of stuff right there. All that was going on way back then too. Okay, so when he first went to Vienna, he said, "Well, why are y'all attacking these people?" But then he started noticing that, well, damn, these people own all the magazines and newspapers. They own all the banking. They own all the, he started paying attention to how much they were in control of and how they were creating opposition within his own people and how they were doing it. And when you come and question them, how they never answer the question. They never really answer the question. Or they do everything. That's why I'm sitting there saying, you can sit here and see, right? They're doing the same thing right now. They do the same exact thing. I'm telling you, you got to stay. And that's why they don't want you reading that stuff. They don't want you reading any of that stuff. They demonize if they don't want you reading, they're going to demonize. They're going to label it. And then they're going to label you too. They're going to label you something. Oh, you a shield. You they start putting a label on you. That's another tactic they like, because when you label someone, it's like labeling someone, and that's why you have to have the frame of mind where you cannot allow what somebody thinks about you to control. You just got to be bold, and the only way you can do that is you got to be with God. You just got to be a soldier for God, and not worry about that, and understand that God is with you, who can be against you. Because when you're going against lies, like what these people are doing, I don't even understand what they think I'm trying to do. I don't really understand what they think I'm trying to do. I'm like, what do you think I'm over here? What do you think I'm over here doing? What do you think I'm over here doing? I read Me and Kaff. Y'all should read chapter 2 of it. When he went to Vienna, I forgot what chapter. Go into Vienna and the section where he went to Vienna, and he starts noticing things. He had never even seen a Jewish person before. And so, it's just like if you went to New York, like me, I'm from Dallas, Texas. When I was in Dallas, Texas, I never really seen a Jewish person. It went growing up, my whole time I was growing up. But then when I went to New York for the first time, they had a whole community in Brooklyn. And then I kind of said, okay, well, these are Jewish people, they have their own community, it ain't nothing, ain't no big deal. You start seeing them, you go to a new city and then you see people and you see different cultures and things like this. You're excited. It's a new culture. But then as you become immersed in something, like these guys say, like this guy just put down on BitChute, it spurs hatred. How's it spurring hatred? All he doing is naming everybody that is in government who has a certain nationality. That's all he did. He didn't say they were evil. He didn't say they killing people. He didn't say he didn't say nothing like that. All that video did is say these people who are in government and they got dual citizenship with Israel. That's all. The dude who did my irrelevant defense, same thing with him. They put him in jail for 2 years, and all he said was, look, I'm just showing you what the court records say, going back all the way to 1100. All he did the research and pulled the court records back from 1100. They put his ass in jail because they said what? He was inciting some sort of hatred against a group of people. That's why you got to be very careful talking about these people. You got to be very careful talking about them. You got to be very careful talking about them, man, because they the ones in control. They don't even want you to know they in control. That's what they get pissed off about. When you tell people and let people know that these are the people that are in control, they don't like that because they like to operate in the shadows and behind the scenes. They don't like to be put on Front Street and let you know that, okay, these are the people that are running everything. So they start calling you shield and all kind of names and things like that. And I ain't got nothing against you, bro. I'm sitting there telling the people, just like you concerned about your people, I'm concerned about my people. I'm concerned about my people. What am I lying about? And let me tell you something else. Because I can't prove what I'm saying, because I readily admit I can't prove it. I've said that since day one. I said I can't prove it. That's why I do the research and show y'all the research. You can't prove it. You can't even prove when you discharge a debt that's how the debt was discharged. You can't prove it. The only way you're going to know it is you got to go through it yourself. That's how they got it set up. You can't prove nothing. Ain't nothing on the public record. You can go through the public record all day long. You're not going to see any instance of this. If they do dismiss something, it's going to be for another reason. Ain't gonna never associated with this. So when you go over to their websites and you look at these people say, this doesn't ever work. It doesn't ever work. They keep saying it because it ain't nothing on the record showing it ever work. It's not nothing on the record to show it ever work because it's something that operates behind the scenes. If they've held you in jail, listen to me, man. If they've held you in jail and they were to dismiss the case, don't you know that you're entitled to hundreds of millions of dollars? Do you think they're going to let that happen? They're not going to let that happen. They're not going to let that happen. I'm sitting here telling you, you get millions of dollars for every day you locked up. There's one guy I know, he got his case dismissed. He was a Hebrew Israelite. He was the first person I interviewed on high frequency radio. And he got arrested for squatting. He was on the news and everything. He took his shit to trial. And when he went to trial, every defense he used was from the property laws from the Old Testament. And he won. They ruled in his favor. That's the only one I know. In the public. The swastika, from my understanding, represents the two counter-rotating fields that allow physical reality to manifest from the ether. Yeah, the as above, so below. As above, so below. I don't know if that's the meaning of it, but I just know it was around way before him. He got it from, and he drew it. He's the one who drew it. He drew that symbol. So when you go and really study it, and they don't want you studying because everything I'm telling you used to be on YouTube. All this was on YouTube. They took everything off of YouTube at the beginning of the pandemic. Right after, mysteriously enough, all of the health professionals all died. Notice all those people who could cure the naturopaths, like 60 something of them ended up dead mysteriously in a year. Let me see if I am, man. I'm important. I'm important. I'm over here, man. I got. Can I translate this English? Okay, yeah, there you go. Is that it? Wait a minute. And I'm over in another country, man. Everything on Google keep coming up in another language. I'm sitting there trying to. Okay, that's it right there. Okay, there you go. Yeah, all right. It just switched over. You translated. I'll find it later. But all the oldest people came up dead. I in 2020 they started scrubbing YouTube, everything, the Sandy Hill, all that stuff, all the video footage showing that was staged, all that kind of stuff. So that's where it started with me. It started with me when I started paying attention to the Sandy Hook thing, and what really broke it down is when I read William Cooper. He had Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. They took that out of all the new Behold a Pale Horse. You don't even see it in there anymore. So I started reading that. And then when I read that, the next thing you know, there was another audio on the internet, Rabbi Finkelstein. So, I listened to that, and of course, everything they said is just, they're going to say it's some made up type of stuff. So I said, okay. But he was saying some things in there that I was like, well, that's very strange. So I started investigating it, and I started seeing that everything that he was saying was true. And Rabbi Finkelstein, and everything I got from, these are Jewish people telling this, like um, my man Benjamin Freeman, okay, who did the speech, the 1961 speech in the Willard Hotel. When he taught, he's Jewish. He's all Jewish guys. And I'm quoting them because they call them what is the word they use for them? They call them some kind of Jews. But the thing is that I had to do that because they're gonna start saying that I'm anti-Semitic. Well, I said, well, the information I'm getting is straight from your own people. These are your own people that are telling me this. This ain't me saying this. I got it from your people told me this. So how are you trying to say I'm X, Y, and I'm X, Y, Z? So I started giving it to them. So I started telling people where to look and start paying attention to this. Then I started I started noticing that every time you see Hitler, they show a video of him, he all mad and he's angry, and he's always on the video doing all of this, but they don't never tell you what he's saying. So I started when they did Hitler, the greatest story never told, and they started, that was on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. It was on YouTube. It was on YouTube. It had over 2-3 million views at the beginning of the pandemic when they started that Jeffrey Epstein, Jewish guy, he's Jewish, the Epstein Island situation, and they came out with that, what I just told y'all to watch. It's on my BitChute, where they were talking about Q and all of that stuff right here. They went ballistic. They went on YouTube, and anyone who had any information like that on their channel, they took their channel down. My channel got taken down. I had almost 100,000 subscribers, and they took my channel down. Myron Fagan on the liberals, they gave you a shot. They took it down if you had that. They didn't even get no warning or anything like that. They went on an all-out mission, and then the next thing you know, they had the pandemic, and everybody forgot about all of it. Everything that was being discussed, everybody just forgot about it. Just forgot about it. None of y'all even talking about that anymore. That was serious during that time. And they took that and they just squashed everything, as Trump was talking about draining the swamp. And it was like, okay, well, the thing was those pedophile rings. And man, they got some powerful information. Man, the proof is so much there. That's why I said, if you want proof, go over there and watch some videos. They got proof. They got videos. They got pictures, videos. They showing you that these research, they put together something damaging. Just like old boy when he's saying, well, these are the people in government right now. They don't want you to know any of that. Just like with the judicial system. They don't want you to know any of that. So when you start talking about it, oh, you crazy. Show us where this worked for you. Show you man, I can't show you where it worked for me. You think these people are going to put this in the record? They're not going to put this in the record. The very first thing I ever read told me that. The very first document I ever read, creditors and their bonds, let me know they're not putting any of this in the record. So I didn't understand where the questions came from, where people were saying, well, prove that this works. The proof that I'm trying to offer you, okay, and just listen to what I'm saying. The proof that I'm trying to offer you is when I went through this, I didn't believe it either. I didn't believe it, or I wasn't sure about it. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say I wasn't really sure. It came to me like 3 times. Came to me 3 times. The first time was my homeboy offered me the book Cracking the Code, the 3rd edition. He offered me Cracking the Code 3rd edition. And I looked at the shit. I said, man, I ain't got time to read this bullshit. I said, what is this? Some law or something? He said, yeah. I said, man. He said, with your memory, if you learn this, man, you'll be a bad dude. I said, man, I ain't got time to read this. And I gave it back to him. The second time it came to me was when they started talking about the flag, the gold fringe flag. Some dudes came to me, they saying, man, there's something about that flag in the courtroom. We don't talk about the flag anymore, but it's still in there. All right. And then the third time is after I got arrested. My homeboys, they gave me creditors and their bonds, dealing with presentments, whole bunch of documents, Gene Keating prison treaties, the Gene Keating transcript. The Gene Keating transcript, that was a badass. That was badass. That helped me a lot too. So I'm reading all of this, and okay, so I'm not really sure I believe it or not. You know, I'm like, well, this sounds good, but I don't know if I believe it. So what I started doing is I understood that law operates off certain principles. So I said, well, if that is the case, I'm gonna go to the law library and start reading the statutes and start looking for evidence of this in the statutes, and it's all there. The reason you can't see it in the statute is because the form of it has been changed, but the substance of it has remained the same. They changed the names of it. That's why you got to go back and read something like Clerk's Praxis, okay, so you can see the history of it and then bring it into today. I don't understand why these people, they don't understand what we're saying. What we're saying, if you're an attorney and you're looking, what we're saying is the reason why y'all going on all y'all's cast and saying this don't ever work and all that, because you're hiding it and you're liars. And you already know that the people out here in the world, they ain't never heard of this before, don't know nothing about no law or anything like that. They ain't gonna be able to proceed. Nothing. It's impossible for a person who has not studied what I'm talking about to see anything that I'm talking about. It's impossible. You will never see it. You'll never see it. You'll never see it. Not in a million years. I'll put money on it. I'll put money, I'll give you 1,000 years. And if you hadn't studied what I'm talking about, you'd never see it. You'd never see it. They've hidden it. So thankfully, and let me just say this next, I didn't create any of this. This has been going on for a long time. You know, you got the Montana Freemen, you got people like that. I didn't know who the Montana Freemen were. You know, you got the dude, you know, now they try to say that old boy who blew up the Oklahoma City building, Timothy McVeigh, he was involved in this too. I don't know if I would necessarily doubt that either, because when you first find out, your first reaction is anger. So, like an attorney told me when I first got into this, he came to visit me. He said, look, he said, we can deal with the ones like you. It's the angry ones we can't deal with. The people who get angry and let their anger take over. And that's kind of something I think that they're afraid of too, is that your reaction is going to be the pushback from the anger of people. But if people in mass find out what's going on, they're going to be angry. But you can't go into the record and see none of this. You're not going to be able to see any of this. That's why I'm teaching. That's why I started a school. That's why I take time to read things. That's why I take time to talk about principles and things like that, because you won't see it unless you study this. So I had a guy today, he called me, he got court tomorrow. He think I got like some sort of magic wand to help him win his case tomorrow. I don't have no magic wand to help you win your case tomorrow. I don't even put myself out there like that. You got to do some studying. Let me tell you something. It ain't working for nobody who don't put in no study. It's not. If you're the kind of person that's going to just believe me and what I'm saying, it's never going to work for you. It's not working for you. Ain't nothing working for you. This don't work like that. You're dealing with a completely different animal. When you come into this information like this information is 100% accountability, and all the accountability is on you. That's why I started a school. I started a school. I said, okay, let me just show these people what this means, what that means. Why do you file a UCC1? What is public and private? What is the straw man? Some dude just wrote, now I'll give you an example of something. I'm talking about how they do demonic shit. Okay, you got a guy, he just wrote this. I asked him about the all caps name. So he wrote, this is on the Buck Act video. He sat here and said, what did he say? Where is it at? This is the kind of shit they do. This is the kind of shit they do. You got to watch it. Okay, he said, it's a polite way to write your name. It does not matter if your name is in all cap, all lowercase, or the first letter is caps. It's still your name. Now you have something called an item sonant, which is a Latin word which means same sounding. The same like pen. Am I talking about an ink pen, stick pen, or pig pen? It sounds like your name as long as it sounds the same as that. So they're using the item sonant. Now he's gonna write this and make you believe that your name in all capital letters, as opposed to the Christian appellation of your name, means absolutely nothing. They do it consistently. Okay. And anybody who takes notice of it can look and say, why do they keep writing our name in all caps? They got a document on the Homeland Security that tells their employees to write everybody's names in all caps. Some of you employees work for the government and you know what I'm talking about. They tell you specifically to write the name in all caps. So if it don't matter, why are you instructing your employees to write it in all caps? What is the reason for that? But this demon, it don't matter. It don't matter, man. It's just a polite way of writing it. They tell you some bullshit. And that is what's offensive, because they really, what they saying to you is, you're not intelligent enough to understand this. I can tell you any motherfucking thing and you'll believe me. And for the most part, they're correct, because most of the people out here have been dumbed the fuck down. No, it's something it's something to use as a distinction between public and private. It's some sort of corporate identity. Corporations do business with other corporations, man. The next thing that they hiding is the corporate nature of everything. They hiding it. They hiding it. And that's what they go. It's yeah, like Artie and all them guys. Listen, man, I don't be caring about none of them dudes. I don't care about none of them dudes, man. I know who they are. If you look at Artie's corporate fiction, don't he look Jewish? Look at him. He gonna say he's not. I'm sitting here telling you, man. I went and did it. Listen, listen, y'all. People gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna say this. Okay, first, I was on that white and black thing too. I was real strong on that white people, black people thing. And all white people is the same and all that kind of stuff, But I didn't hate white people, but it's just that I just kind of looked at them as all the same. It's just all the same. I just say they just white people. And so when I started learning this information, and I started seeing this sovereign citizen stuff start coming up. I say, okay, well, why are they so well, the first thing I noticed is like, where does word come from, and why are they so big on labeling somebody something? So I start paying attention to the Southern Poverty Center. So I go and I start digging deep. I said, well, who are the people that originated the Southern Poverty Center? I found that they were Jewish people. I said, okay, all right. And so then I started finding out that 80% of them are Democrats, they're liberals. Okay. Then I started understanding what democracy was and going into history, who Karl Marx was. And, I just started seeing, like, for instance, Sigmund Freud. All right. He said, or is it Sigmund Freud who basically said y'all came from monkeys? Okay. Well, he's Jewish. They claim you animals. So are y'all trying to say that And then when you go and study, like you got these rabbis in Israel, they say that the goyim are animals, and that's why you can enslave us. And then that's right here, right now on YouTube, right here on YouTube. I don't understand why you don't take this down. You take everything else down. Why you ain't took this down? It's right here on YouTube. I ain't saying nothing that y'all ain't said. It's right here on YouTube. Let me go. Let me go over to your YouTube. So I'm over here. It's right here. All right. So here's the video right here because I don't want y'all to think I'm saying this. All right. So I'm looking at this video right here, and he's saying, and he's explaining why the goyim are animals. And so Sigmund Freud say we animals, and or was it Sigmund Freud? Or was the other scientists, and I started looking at the nationality of these people, and overwhelmingly, the majority of them are Jews. Overwhelmingly, I started like, damn, all these people are Jews. All right. So then I started having to add, okay, so then I said, okay, then I started studying Jewish shekels. And yeah, I just started studying stuff. And I just say, okay, well, these people are in control of everything. They are in control of everything. This is the thing. They in control of everything. They bankrupt every country on planet Earth. They own the World Bank. They own the Federal Reserve. What Hitler was mad at, and here's the next thing I want y'all to think about this. Hitler wasn't just mad at Jews just because they was Jews. Hitler was upset about the banking system. That was his central thing. And he is the only person, the last person in history that completely removed a central bank out of his country. And they have demonized him forever since that. Now you have a president right now in Venezuela or somebody like that. He's claiming right now he's going to take a central bank out of his country. Watch what happened to him. Mark my words. He say he's going to get the central bank out of his country. Mark my words. If he don't get assassinated or that country don't get attacked or something like that, and a war don't break out with that country. Mark my words. Go watch the video. All wars are bankers' wars. All that they took off YouTube. They took all of it off of YouTube. They took all that off of YouTube. Y'all ain't got access to none of that. None of that. And you got to ask yourself why. Why'd you take this off YouTube? Why'd you take it off YouTube? I could go real deep with this. Don't push me, man, to go real deep with this. I could go real deep with this. It's Argentina. Yeah, the president of Argentina. He said he's going to get rid of. Watch what happened to him. Well, he's like a Kennedy or a Lincoln or Andrew Jackson. Hitler was the last person that they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that part of it. They don't talk about that. That was the main thing he did. He got rid of the central bank out of Germany, and then Germany prospered and became very. And as a matter of fact, Time Magazine, a Jewish publication, Hitler was the man of the year on the front of their magazine at first. Go and Google it right now. See what I'm saying. These are things that they don't tell you and don't teach you about. You got to go back and study history. If you go back and study history, then it'll be clear what's happening today. You got to study history. Them dudes, they come on, they say, well, you can't prove it. I see that all the time. I'm like, of course you can't prove it. How you gonna prove it? Y'all in control of the record. How you gonna prove something when the judge works for the state, the prosecutor works for the state, the defense attorney works for the state, everybody in the damn process works for the state? Y'all funny. Y'all funny. The only thing I can do is doing what I'm doing right now, reading transcripts, showing you the law, teaching you principles, making you. The real problem with most of Americans today is y'all don't understand the Constitution. They got y'all tied up in this democracy, and it ain't no democracy. Yeah, like when the FBI tweeted out the protocols of the learned others design, they made them apologize. They made them apologize. The person who created the FBI what's his name? He was Jewish. So now you have the Mossad in Israel, and this is what's his name? Hoover. I think Hoover was Jewish, wasn't he? I think that's who I'm talking about. You go and study this and go study the key to seeing what's going on. You got to look at the nationality of all the players in the game. You will see it for yourself. You ain't got to believe me. It's self-explanatory. You'll see it for yourself. The object of the game, the reason they don't like sovereigns is because they are communists. We are a threat, me, myself included, are a direct threat to their plans to bring in communism. All right. Because I'm talking about the Constitution. What am I saying wrong? I'm talking about the Constitution for the United States of America. I'm not sitting here saying we can do anything and everything that we want. I'm telling you there ain't no money. I'm asking, we got a right to know the nature and cause of the action under the Sixth Amendment. What am I saying that's offending to these? What am I saying that's offensive? I ain't attacked nobody. But they coming over here attacking me for something I'm saying. That's what you got to pay attention to. I ain't said nothing. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover. Go and start researching this stuff for yourself. You're gonna see a lot of people have, and they come back and tell me, you know, man, you're right. You're gonna see it for yourself. The object of the game is a new world order and put chips in everybody, like when my man who was interviewing Rothschild, one of the Rockefellers. When he was interviewing him, he said, "What did Rockefeller say? What's the end game?" He said, "The end game is get everybody chipped." Now we were talking about chips, computer chips put in the body way back in the '90s. We thought it was some old futuristic shit. Now we in 2023 and we seeing this coming. It's coming. It's coming. A cashless society. We couldn't believe a cashless society back in the early '90s. Now I walk around, I don't have hardly any cash on me at all. We're practically in a cashless society now. This is the game. Total control through the monetary system. And if you don't think that the court system is involved in this, you crazy. That's another thing that Hitler was upset about is they were spreading homosexuality. Now, look at what's going on in our society today. Who's in control of the music? It's a Jewish guy. He put out Sukiyana and all these people right here. Okay, and you know, it's like, okay, why are you putting out this music? He was just on being interviewed on here. Let me give it to you right now. I'm gonna give it to you because I want y'all to see this. This ain't just me saying this. What is his name? Liar Cohen. His name is Lior Cohen. He's over hip hop. It's him right here. All right, go and watch this man. And then go and ask this man a question. Right? You don't have to believe nothing I'm saying. They tell you every day. They ask this man the question, why are you feeding our people? And this is what get me mad. If you're Jewish and you're watching me right now, this is what makes me upset. You feeding my people this trash music. You feeding my people this trash music. You took something that was beautiful, that was artistic, and you turning it into something trashy. There's a rabbi that owns Pornhub. There's a Jewish guy that owns OnlyFans. He's making $38 million a month. I went and researched all these people. Okay, so then when I go back in history and I can see, like when you read Me Uncalled for something like that, he said one of the gripes he had with you is that you were spreading debased material. You was feminism, homosexuality, and all of that into the culture. And they are Catholic. Like I just went through Portugal and Spain. They heavily Catholic country, man. They very religious people. And you coming over here in Germany and then you spreading all of this stuff. And of course, they got upset. But now you're going to say, well, that's some bullshit. But then when I look into the United States of America, the same exact thing is going on today. And I go and check the owners of it, and it's that nationality of people. What am I supposed to think? I don't understand what am I supposed to think. Maybe you could tell me what you think. You know, you sitting here, you talking about me and everything. You didn't went quiet. Will you tell me what you think? What am I supposed to tell my people? Are you calling me a liar when this is something that is self-evident that anybody can go and they can verify for themselves? Let me give y'all something else since we on this subject. Since we on this subject about proving stuff. This a brother right here. He made a. They have this blocked too. They have it blocked too. They got it blocked. You might not can find it. They had it blocked for a while. They had this blocked. Here's a link right here. Y'all can go over and y'all. This is another brother. He did some research. He's another brother that's doing research. Black man. All right. You go over there and read that. Okay. This dude is talking about, like right here, this guy right here. What's his name? His name is Israel Cohen. He said, we must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tensions. By propounding into the consciousness of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by whites, we can mold them to the program of the Communist Party. In America, we will aim for subtle victory while inflaming the Negro minority against the whites. We will endeavor to instill in the whites a guilt complex for their exploitation of the Negroes. We will aid the Negroes to rise in prominence in every walk of life, in the professions and in the world of sports and entertainment. With this prestige, the Negro will be able to intermarry with the whites and begin the process which will deliver America into our cause. Now, when I start researching this, I start noticing all the commercials on TV. It's like interracial couples, interracial couples, interracial couples, interracial couples, interracial couples. And I start seeing this and everything. And some of the white people, they know this. There's a lot of white people that know this, but they can't say it like Trump knew it. It's a lot of white people that knew this, but they can't say it. They can't say it. But it's like when I show you that white man's Bible, like this right here, the white man's Bible. So what I learned, Secure Party is just all Secure Party did for me. It showed me what was really, really going on. Now, this dude being class, and he is a white supremacist. I ain't gonna lie. This dude is a white supremacist like crazy. And that's what's really funny. Here's the thing. They just took my video down on BitChute, talking about it incites something, but they got Ben Class's videos all over BitChute. He don't incite hatred. Why would you take down my video where all it's showing is who the people occupying government? Ben Klassen, he's straight up telling you, Jews, kikes, he over there talking like that, niggas, blah, 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 all on there. You ain't took none of his stuff down. He all over BitChute. Why is he just, you see, because that's what it wasn't that. It's y'all don't want people to know who is behind, who pulling the strings behind the scenes. You know, Kanye West came out and tried to say it. Anybody who come out and try to say it, you punish them. I'm sure at some point y'all gonna like really come after me hard too. I don't even have any doubt about it. I don't have any doubt about it. But you know what? Hopefully, my people, I put out enough information where they will go and do the research for themselves and they will see what's going on for themselves. And they'll like, you know what? Yusuf was right. Or say Yusuf was wrong and then put out something to show that I'm wrong. But I don't think that I am. This goes beyond secure party creditor and living private and all of that kind of stuff. This goes into racial pride, I think, first and foremost. I think white people have a right to have racial pride. And I think black people have a right to be racially prideful. All right, we have to have some racial pride. This has refusing to allow another group of people to manipulate you, and understanding that the United States of America is a free country. We have freedom of association. Okay. If you want to be gay, you're more than well within your rights to be gay. You're well within your rights to have a gay community. You're well within your rights to, have gay programming. What you don't have a right to do is try to use that and influence or infect the minds of our children if we don't desire to have that happen. That's that is the issue. The issue is not you living the life that you want to live. You can live whatever life you want to live. The issue is not my body, my right when we talk about abortion. The thing is if you have a group of people in the state that don't believe in killing babies, then you have to respect that and you have to go get with a group of people who are okay with killing babies, and you roll with those group of people because they do exist. It's called freedom of association. That's what leaving it to the states was all about. So if you want to have an abortion, nobody's saying you can't have an abortion. Nobody's trying to exercise any control over your body. What you're trying to do is exercise control over the wishes of the group, where the majority rules. And if the majority in a certain state don't want something in their state, you need to respect that, and you need to go to a state that does. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying with this. I'm not lying. Ain't no money. Are you trying to say that there's money? Are you trying to say that when I say that the government, when you look at a case number, there's not a CUSIP number associated with that is being traded on the markets? Are you trying to say that? Are you trying to say that the private industrial prison system doesn't get paid a per diem for every bed space that they keep, and they got a contract with the government to keep it 100% occupancy? Are you saying I'm lying about that? Are you saying I'm lying about the U.S. district courts being Article 1 courts? I'm lying about that? Am I lying about that? Am I lying about this being civil in nature? The reason it never works because y'all run over people. Y'all throw people in jail. Y'all hold them in jail. That's why it don't work. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I have seen. I'm going to give y'all a bone. They will never go against, I think to say it for a lack of a better word is they will never go against God. What they do is they test your faith in God. They test your faith in God. They're not going to go against them though. That's one of the one things that I've seen. But they got so many different creative ways to test your faith in God. This is why when you read Revelations 2:10, it says, he said, the devil shall cast some of you into prison and shall test you 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I shall give you the crown of life. That's when the Bible starts coming alive to you. When you start reading some of this stuff, and you'll start seeing like, God damn, these people are going through the same stuff that people are going through today. And that's the things that, so all I'm saying, I wasn't looking for this information. Let me say this too. I was not looking for this. I had no interest in anything that I'm showing y'all. I was not interested in this at all. I couldn't care. I could care less. Even when I was hanging around some guys that knew the information, I was trying to make some money. I wasn't interested in learning about none of this. I didn't even want to be a teacher. I come from a family of teachers. I didn't want to teach. I just wanted to make some money and mind my business. But I got tired of being afraid. And when the information, it came to me. I don't know how it came to me. I didn't ask for it. That's something else. How did the information come to me? I wasn't even looking. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. It just dropped in my lap one day. And I read it and understood it. And I started showing people. And the thing that I'm battling against is overcoming. You're not going to see anything in the record on me winning. You're not going to see anything on the record of me winning. You're not going to see that. All you can see is that I'm here with you right now. That's the only proof you got. I'm right here with you right now. I got my passport. I got all my stuff. I'm traveling the world, and that's the only evidence that I can give you right now. And they was talking about 60 years, and I'm right here with you right now. That's the only evidence I can give you. That's the only evidence I can give you. But I can tell you what happened and why. And this is another thing. When I first started this, it was not to talk about discharging credit cards. I was talking straight to people in the prison who had cases. When you go back and listen to my old blog talk, all I was talking about was the criminal justice system. That's what I started off talking about. And in the beginning, I was telling people, I said, look, you can't prove none of this. And then there were people listening to me, show me some proof and everything. I say, look, man,
They do. It's like this. It's like use your common sense, man. You think you're going to discharge a debt, and they're going to say, you know what, sir, thank you for your bill of exchange. We're going to apply the credits to your account and zero that out, and we're going to send you the title to your car tomorrow. On appreciated, thank you. You think you're going to get a letter saying that? That's when I have to question the intelligence of the people that are involved in this. You don't have no business involved in this if you think like that. If we're telling you they're hiding something and then you're looking for evidence, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's the whole basis of the game. They hiding it. That's why I told you to go and watch Howard Freeman's The UCC Connection. He explains it to you. They hiding it. And this fool, he gonna come in, you don't never show no proof of nothing. You can tell he only been really listening to me for about a week or two, because I've been said this about like 150 times. No more than that, thousands of times over the years. I've said this. I said, man, this is how the game operates. The reason I started teaching is okay. How if I can't prove it on the record, how can I prove it? If I can't prove it on the record, how can I prove it? Okay, the way you prove it is the first thing you have to start with is you have to understand the Constitution. You got to understand how this country was set up. You got to understand that this is a constitutional republic. You have to start there. The problem is the overwhelming vast majority of people in this country are functional illiterates. They went to public school. Public school didn't teach you nothing about the Constitution. Or nothing like that, but they'll tell you that ignorance of the law is no excuse. But you ain't learned none of this. You don't even know the Constitution. You ain't even read it. I guarantee you 85% of the people who are on here right now ain't even read the Constitution. I bet you 75% of y'all don't even know what separation of powers is. When you first heard the word, even though when I was young, I knew that when I was in elementary school, what separation of powers. I used to watch Schoolhouse Rock. That's what we're dealing with. And they know that. They know that y'all don't know. So when they make statements, of course it's going to look like, we'll prove it. You haven't shown any proof. We asked you and showed you some proof. It's like they know that they know that's a chess move because the people listening, they want proof. And that's why it says in the Bible, an evil, understand this, Matthew 16:4. Matthew 16:4. An evil, let me see, King James, a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to them except the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them departed. What does that mean? He said, evil, wicked, and adulterous. And that's what we got. We have a wicked and adulterous generation. That right there just lets you know we got a wicked and adulterous generation. Ain't looking for a sign, and no sign shall be given to them except the prophet Jonah. What happened to Jonah? Jonah was in the belly of a whale 3 days. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all in a spiritual warfare, and you may not know it. You're in some sort of spiritual warfare, and hey, you can think whatever you want to think about me, but my thing is this: don't believe nothing I say. Go behind me. Anytime you hear me say anything, go behind me and verify it for yourself. Don't believe nothing I say. Don't believe nothing I say. I spend so much time giving away free information, because the next thing, and here's what's so beautiful about God, even though no matter I come on here, do just just total free stuff, my life still just money just still comes to me abundantly. Just here comes to me abundantly. And I know that's only because as long as I keep my eye on the prize, and that is to make sure that I do my job and inform y'all and educate y'all about what's going on. But don't believe anything that I'm saying. Go and verify it for yourself. These guys, they're going to be, and this is what the question you got to ask yourself. Even when you sit there, and this is the next thing I had to do. Like you see me, I read that case. I take time and read the cases, and I teach classes where I read it to people and show people what to look for. That's what you have to do, and that's what we got to get back to doing. All this bullshit that y'all out there doing, passing paperwork back and forth, looking for magic paperwork. That is what y'all the problem. Ain't no magic paperwork. There's not any magic paperwork. There's no magic paperwork. That's the problem with this space. This space, people are selling paperwork. I don't sell paperwork. I don't sell paperwork. I don't do none of that. That's the problem. Y'all believe that a piece of paper is going to save you. A piece of paper is not going to save you. But that's what you believe. You believe that. You think a piece of paper is going to save you. A piece of paper is not going to save you. What's going to save you is what's up in here. What you put up in here. That's what's going to save you. Ain't nothing else going to save you. And in order for you to make the right decision, you have to have the right knowledge. You can't make accurate decisions on things until you've been given the right information. Let me go back. You must first have the light to give the light. All about taking responsibility. Okay, let me get back. I'm back. Okay, what was your next question? Trading with the Enemy Act, and the alien property custodian holds your estate, and the alien property custodian was changed to the Secretary of the State. Okay, now the alien property custodian, I hate to say it, but that just sounds like some information you've been regurgitating, because that has been said to me since almost day one since I've been involved in this. The alien property custodian, you're trading with the Enemy Act, I can understand, because essentially when you went into the democracy, you're an enemy of the republic. Our country is a republic. So when you take on that title, U.S. Citizen, and you agree to be a surety for the national debt is what's keeping the country in bondage. So it's like you're an enemy. You're like an enemy to the country. So, but all of that, none of that is new information. That's been around since some of the first paperwork I got had all that on there, the alien property custodian and all that. I remember the first time I discharged a debt, it had all that in the verbiage of the contract. All of it's been around forever. Let's see. Salvation is a gift, and you are a messenger. I appreciate that. And it's what you do, not what you say. It is what you do. I appreciate the $2 donation. I appreciate the $2 donation. How are commercials interrupting the live stream? What the fuck? Well, I got to, I monetize this channel. I'm trying to get to the point where I just do the YouTube channel, because the YouTube, you get a YouTube pays pretty good, man. I ain't going front. And it's Jewish guys who own YouTube. Two Jewish guys. They on Google and YouTube. On Google and YouTube. As always, you're a 100%. This man doesn't lie. I've used this info and gotten someone straight out of jail. His intentions are real, and he's got heart. Two things you must have for any of this process is you do. You got to have it. I ain't gonna lie though. I don't want to go through it again. But it was definitely something that taught me a lot. It's something that taught me a lot. And I'm just giving the information to all of you so you can help yourselves, because I'm tired of seeing what's going on. But you got to research it. You got to read it for yourself. I put all and here's the next thing. I put all of, I think, the most relevant documents that I think, if you're new to this, if it's your first time watching me and you're wondering where you need to start, just go to my SPC University. I went ahead and I feel like all the relevant documents are outside of the website, meaning you don't have to be a member. Just get to the PDF drop down, and right there, go on that. I put every document. I think a newbie, a person that is just getting into this information and you trying to learn it and get a good grasp of it, all that information I got for you contained right there. But you got to do your reading. You're not going to learn none of this if you're not a reader. You got to be able to read, and you got to look up words. This is a word game. So you got to look up the words and you got to read, because they are always going to tell you this has never worked, because they're going off the public record. All right. These are private processes. Public and private don't mix. But they're going to tell you all the time, this don't never work. It ain't never worked before. Let me give you another story. I've said this before. Okay, when I first got into this, I was in county jail. Okay, so I always remember this, man, because this right here shocked me. It's almost like God was bringing stuff to me in the beginning too. So, I was still kind of in that area where I wasn't really sure if any of this was real, but I was reading every day. I was studying, but I still wasn't sure. I hadn't been to court yet and tested anything or anything like that. So one day, a white man got arrested and he was brought into jail. And he worked for and if you know anything, he worked for some rocket company. I forgot the name of it. I don't know if it was McDonnell Douglas or Boeing or it was some shit like that. But anyway, he came in. He was a rocket scientist. He was a rocket scientist, and he got arrested for smoking dope on his break. He went on break in his truck, drove somewhere, was doing some crack or some dope or something like that, and the police rolled up on him and busted him. All right. Now, this man was a rocket scientist. He was extremely intelligent, but he was hooked on drugs too. I've seen a lot of people like that's another thing. Just because don't ever just be mistaken thinking just because somebody a star. I seen a stockbroker say, "Hey, going to prison saved his life." He was spending damn how much money he said he was spending a week. I think he said he was spending something like 15, $20,000 a week on heroin. He said prison saved his life. And he was a big time stockbroker. You got guys out there in all walks of life that have drug problems and all kinds of things. Don't stop and think it's just the people in the hood and shit like that. No, that thing has infected everybody. It got everybody hooked on drugs. But anyway, so he's a rocket scientist. And when he comes in, he comes over to the table because I have all my court paperwork all over the table. I'm working, and he comes over to me and he says he wants to know what I'm doing. He strikes up a conversation with me. All right. Because ain't that many intelligent guys gonna give you no intelligent conversation. So we get into an intelligent conversation. I start telling him about what I was doing. And so he told me, he said, well, my brother's coming to get me out of jail. He said, I'm gonna ask him if this is real. His brother was a high-powered attorney and his brother had his own private plane. Dude had a private plane. And so as soon as his brother got arrested, he jumped on the phone and called his brother. And his brother was on his way. He ain't been in jail he's probably stayed in jail 48 hours. I say max. All right. So his brother was on the way to get him. So we went over to the jail phone. Okay. He said, I'm gonna call my brother. And he called his brother from the jail. So he let me listen. You know how you be talking on the phone. And so I'm on, with him, and he got the holding receiver, and I could hear what his brother's saying. He's talking to his brother. So he told his brother, he said, hey, there's a guy in here who has some information. And he told him what it was. He said, and I'm just trying to find out if it's real or not, because he says it's real. And and I just want to know it's real. This is exactly what his brother said. He said, how the fuck did he get that in there? That was the first thing he said. How the fuck did he get that in there? And so his brother said, well, hey, I don't know, but I just want to know, is it real? And he said, hell yeah, it's real. He said, but they can hold him up to a year. Ask him if he want to sue. Now, I didn't know exactly what that meant, but they can hold you up to a year. So one of the things they do, they're going to hold you in jail. All right. You're going to get those dry runs. I don't know how many people you ain't been to jail. You don't know what a dry run is. A dry run is that you get scheduled for a court date. And when they take you to court, you don't see the judge. They take you back to the cell. And you get that happen to you about 40, 50 times. They're trying to fatigue you into taking a plea deal. All right. Because they want you to take a plea deal. All right. So that's what his brother said. Now, when his brother said that, I was shocked. I was shocked. Also, the attorney, I went and got a attorney. So the attorney, he told me, he said, he came to see me. And I said, he said, he came and visited me and shit. What's his name? Steve something. I think he was Jewish too. And he came to see me. And I told him, I said, I put in a demand for speedy trial. The reason I put in a demand, that's how I know everything about speedy trial, because they didn't have no witnesses. They were just holding me. And he said, you put in a demand for speedy trial? He said, you know about the Fifth Amendment? I said, this nigga didn't even know it was the Sixth Amendment. This is another thing y'all going to find out. These attorneys, because the overwhelming vast majority of them, all they do is plea deals. They very seldom study the law. They know some general stuff. They can speak that talk and talk that talk and all of that kind of stuff. But they very seldom, if you get into some deep type stuff, take them into deep waters, they don't know what you're talking about because on a daily basis, that's not what they do. The overwhelming majority of their cases is just them negotiating plea deals for people. So he sat there and told me, he said, I'll be back. I'm gonna go and check. He went back and checked. He came back, he was smiling. He said, oh, you're just trying to protect yourself. And I was like, he was very transparent with me. He said, look, let me tell you something. He said, we can deal with the ones like you. It's the angry ones we can't deal with. He said, I'm gonna go talk to blah, blah, blah. He convinced me, listen, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna tell y'all more of the story, but I'm not want to do it on YouTube. I'm gonna do it on a private call on my on my in class off my website, and I'll tell you some of the other things that he told me. But this is what was happening to me, and this is at the very initial stages of this. They're gonna have people in prison. There's gonna be some inmates in there, like because it's gonna be all kind of stuff that's gonna be going on, and you got to be aware of that. They're gonna try to give you some sort of a mental evaluation, anything to make you look like you're crazy. You got to always remind yourself, well, why am I taking a mental evaluation? All I'm doing is challenging jurisdiction. Have you ever wondered that? They tell you that you got a right to challenge jurisdiction, but they go and make videos about you and call you names and shit like that. When challenging subject matter jurisdiction, you can do that at any time, at any place in the proceeding. You can challenge jurisdiction, but they act like you don't have the right to do that. They start making videos calling you sovereign citizens and shit like that. And all you're trying to do is, well, damn, enforce the Constitution. That's all you're doing is enforcing the Constitution. And they call you names because of that. They call you stupid. You don't know what you're doing. This is some of that sovereign citizen shit. And you're like, going to judge mad at you. Like, what the fuck did I do? I don't have a right to try to defend myself? Yeah, okay. Let's say you are guilty. But does that mean I'm supposed to get 5 or 10 years in prison? 15 years in prison? 20, 30 years in prison? Dope is a victimless crime. Dope is a victimless crime. You telling me that somebody should get 30 years in prison? You gonna take 30 years of a man's life and he ain't killed nobody? And y'all out here with these pharmaceuticals selling drugs, alcohol. Here's a funny statistic for y'all. I want y'all to take this statistic. 500,000 people a year die from cigarette smoke. About 70 to 80,000 people a year die from alcohol. Only about 3,000 people a year die from drugs. If you are so concerned about society, why y'all ain't outlaw cigarettes? I don't know what the stat is, but that was the stat they gave us. Why don't you go and that was a while back. Y'all check the recent. I don't know what the recent stat is, but go check the stats on it. How many people die a year? How many people die a year from cigarettes? More than 8 million people die prematurely yearly from tobacco use. 8 million. This is the latest available WHO estimate as of November 2023. More than 7 million of these deaths result from direct tobacco use. About 1.3 million are non-smokers who are dying because they are exposed to secondary hand smoke. Now, let me ask you a question. You think these people care about you? You think in selling dope is in some kind of way that they are concerned about the welfare of the community, when 8 million people a year die from cigarettes? Isn't the death of a person more important than, not to say, I'm not saying drugs ain't bad and drugs don't do a lot of bad stuff to the community, but shouldn't you be concentrating your efforts on how the dope is getting into the community? Shouldn't that be like where the bulk of your task force should be focused on? And weren't drugs introduced into our communities through the CIA? In the government, the one that was responsible. And that was something that Rabbi Finkelstein said too. He said he loved drugs because drugs get your people drugged up. They get to arrest you and put you in prison in it, and they make some money off of it. So it's like it's a lethal weapon because they get to drug you up, they get to arrest you and put you in jail and make slaves out of you. It serves, and then they get to monetize you, make bonds off you, make money off of you. It's a very nice weapon to have. Where'd I get that from? Rabbi Finkelstein. That's what he said. I'm not making that up. Somebody said that. Why are you mad at me? Because that's what he said. Anybody go listen to it right now? You go listen to the man, he'll tell you. The prosecutor laughed at me like I was crazy. The judge heard me though. It was almost embarrassing how they try and make you look dumb. Just keep composure and stand on what's right. They do the same. It's a script they follow. It's a script. It's a script. They all follow the same script. They all give the same responses, do the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm here to make you aware of it. That's really what I am. I'm like a messenger here to make you aware of what's going on. You're not aware of what's going on. It's right in front of your face. It's a light show. Now, there's a lot of people that came before me. They are some very intelligent people that peeped this out long before I did, and I owe them a debt of gratitude. I owe them a debt of gratitude. I'll name him Gene Keating. If you're still alive, bro, thank you. You know, David Wynn Miller, uh, Patrick Devine, um, David Clarence. He did the executive letters. Who else? Howard Freeman, Howard Griswold. Who's my man who wrote Using Your Exemption and the Exemption? Those are two first things I read on the exemption on discharging debt. Oh man, my man who wrote What Does Acceptance for Value Mean? Byron Beers. Byron Beers is a beast. He's a beast. That document helped me understand discharging debt more than any other document I've ever read. Is What Does Acceptance for Value Mean? People won't read it though because it's not an easy read. It's only the people that are very serious about learning this information going to read something like that. Who else? American Bulletin. Shout out to American Bulletin. I met Robert Kelly. Robert Kelly, if you watching, man, you're an American hero, bro. I don't know if you know it, but back in the day when you put out Cracking the Code and Redemption Manual and all that kind of stuff, it's like, the community owes you a debt of gratitude. The community owes you a debt of gratitude, bro. I can say, you don't know the impact I don't know if you understand the impact you had, but you had a very big impact on stuff. Who else? It's a lot of people. I could go down a long list of people. I go down a long list. There's a long list of people that's come and gone who have contributed to this. I just synthesized a lot of the information. I didn't create any of the information. I didn't create not one word of this. I synthesized it. I did the direction. It was told. One of the best things I think that elevated my knowledge is when I read the Clerk's Praxis, as well as studied American jurisprudence on any subject. That law is a legal encyclopedia. That helped me tremendously with my understanding. It also helped to dispel a lot of the bullshit that's going around in the community. Like when you use that de facto versus de jure. Most of these guys don't even know what that shit means. They sitting there talking, it's de facto government. So a de facto government is a legitimate government. What are you saying? De facto just means that you acquiesce. You know, it's just things like that, that, when you go and start doing the study, is going to eliminate, because what's going on in this space right now, there's too much regurgitation of what somebody told me. That just went and got out of hand. Birth certificate authentication, just regurgitation. Passport, just regurgitation. Just people just regurgitating shit. They don't know. Subrogation, regurgitation. Just regurgitating shit. Ain't studied nothing. And the result of that is these people get to make sovereign citizen videos on these other channels and make you look like fools, and rightfully so, because almost all the people on their videos are fools. Most of the ones I see, they look stupid, the overwhelming majority of them, because what they're getting over there, they're getting these kind of people. It's people who looking for a quick fix. They're looking for a quick fix. Somebody told them, go in there, say this, do this, or something like that. And then they end up and making a video out of them. They arguing with a police officer on the side of the road. Why the fuck are you arguing with a police officer on the side of the road? You look stupid. You look stupid. Police do what they're told. They do what they're told, man. If they've been told that you are a motherfucking domestic terrorist, ain't shit you gonna say that's gonna change their mind, fool. Learn how to sign the ticket and then take it up later. Learn how to sign your name without liability and keep it moving. They breaking out windows, dragging people out of cars. I do not consent. This is regurgitated information, just regurgitated. And it's just, they making a mockery out of you. And see, the mistake they made is they thought I was one of those people. So they're coming over here on my channel. But see, they didn't understand, when you come over here on this channel, these are shark infested waters, bro. Over here is motherfucking killing machines. I'm a killing machine, man. I ain't gonna come up. Once I get on your ass, I'm not gonna come up off your ass. I'm a killing machine. I'm not coming off your ass, man. I'm gonna stay on your ass. It don't matter what you do. You can try to humiliate me. You can do whatever. I'm gonna stay on your ass. I told a judge, I say, the only way you're gonna stop me is you gotta take me in the back, shoot me in the head. You took me away from my kids. That was the biggest fuck up you ever did. You created a goddamn monster when you took me away from my children. You created a monster. You don't even understand what's burning inside of my chest, bro. You don't even understand. You ain't never seen nothing like this. You don't know me. If you could see inside of me, you would be terrified. You coming over here fucking with the wrong person, man. I would suggest you leave me the fuck alone and go back to your clown show. Anyway, I just wanted to come and holler at y'all. I'm gonna go to bed. Y'all need to listen to what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying is from the heart. Do your research. Fuck these people, what they talking about. There's a reason they can't stamp out this information. They can't stamp it out. They've been trying to. Look at, all you gotta do is listen for the name. Their name be John, Ben, Samuel, Paul, David. Just listen to the names. Look at the names. And then look at what's going behind you. That's all I'm saying. You in a fight for this country. There are people, it's a concerted effort. If you don't think the prison industrial complex is a part of that effort, you crazy as hell. I'm not saying that there ain't some people that don't believe belong in prison. If you're the type of individual that will murder someone, you belong in prison. If you're the type of individual that will molest a small child, you belong in prison. If you're the type of individual that will beat your girl ass, you belong in prison. If you're the kind of individual that will rape a woman, you belong in prison. If you're the kind of individual that will break in somebody's house and steal their property, you belong in prison. If you're the kind of individual that will drink and drive, you belong in prison. I'll have no sympathy for you. I got no sympathy for those individuals. And I have talked to those individuals. I've talked to them too. I've talked to them too. So I understand, but I don't have no sympathy for you because the first thing that you have to do is you have to be right with the creator of the boundless universe. And you have to be the kind of individual that is right with the creator and right with yourself. And you have to be an honorable individual and respectful to your fellow man, or none of this works. If you don't have the character for this and you're looking for a quick fix and you think this is some information that's going to help you out of a situation when you know you got a fucked up character about yourself, it's not going to work for you because you're not dealing with just paperwork. You're dealing with the unseen. You're dealing with principalities. You're dealing with forces beyond your knowledge. It had nothing to do with no goddamn paperwork. Anyway, peace to the gods. I see y'all in the next. Peace.